सहस तव नैन नन नयन है तोहे का सहस मूरत नना एक तोही सहस पद बिमल नन एक पद गंध बिन सहस तव गंध इव चलत मोही.
Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to lesson 8. So we're going to continue the Arati Shabad in Rag Tanasri, still written by Guru Nanak Dev Ji, Mela Bella. So here we're entering a very important but misunderstood concept in Sikhi. In terms of, basic Gurbani vocabulary, important Gurbani concepts, the idea of Nirgun and Sargun are absolutely critical. But unfortunately many Sikhs today aren't aware of these concepts, let alone the meanings of them. So these two lines are the perfect example of explaining what Nirgun and Sargun are and their differences and their importance. So please pay special attention to these two lines here. They're absolutely critical in developing a solid base of Gurbani understanding. So here, Sastav Nan, Nan hai dohiko, Sahas Murat Nana ek tohi, Sas pad bimal, Nan ek pad gandbin, Sastav gand iv chalat mohi. So your facilitator has already gone through the meanings of this, where basically Guru Nanak Sahib is saying, God, you have thousands of eyes, but you have no eyes, right? You have thousands of faces, but you have no face. You have thousands of feet, but you have no feet. You have thousands of noses, yet you have no nose. So at first, this is quite confusing, right? How can someone have a thousand eyes and have no eyes? How can someone have 1,000 faces but have no face? At first glance, this may seem to contradict each other. But of course, Gurbani is never contradictory. Gurbani always makes sense. It's always our fault. Our intellect is not strong enough to understand Gurbani. So again, on the first glance, you may be confused, but it's just a lack of knowledge. The reason why this doesn't make sense at first is because we don't understand Nirgun and Sadgun. There are two ways that we believe God appears in Sikhi. First form is the Nirgun form, which is the formless, the intangible form of God. And the second form is Sargun, the tangible form of God, the God that appears everywhere, that's in us, in animals, in plants, in water. The tangible, the form of God that you can touch and feel and see. And in your activities here, Activity 9, if you guys want to pull up to it for a second, I'm going to go through this chart with you because I feel this should explain it pretty well. And then we'll go back to the lines at the end and connect the knowledge we learned from this chart and apply it to the actual Bani. So here we see Waheguru, one all-powerful, one all-knowing God, appears in two forms. I just said Sargun and Nirgun. And Sargun is by far the easier perspective to understand, because it's something we can feel, we can touch and see. So all of us sitting in this room today are all part of the Sargun form of God. God appears to us in this room, in terms of every single person, as the Sargun form. So same thing when we go outside, we look at trees, flowers, plants, animals, water, air, whatever. That is all the Sadgun form of God, because God is in all of those things. God is in animals, in plants, in fruit, in vegetables, in water, in humans. Because we can touch, feel, see all of those creations, that is a Sadgun form of God, the tangible form of God, the form that is most accessible to us. But on the other side, we have the Nirgun form of God, in which we believe God appears also in a formless, intangible appearance, a spiritual form, an energy, right? Nam as an energy, as some sort of force, that we can't touch this form of God. We can't smell it. We can't see it. It's all around us, but because we are limited, we can't feel it. But it's there. It appears, but not in the sense that we feel we can see it. The Sadgun form we can see, it's tangible, right? We can feel it. The Nirgun form is the spirit form, the energy form of God that's everywhere in this world as well. So you have the intangible and the tangible forms of God. And both forms need to be worshipped in Sikhi. Both have to be served if you want to reach that highest stage of enlightenment in Sikhi. So how do you do that? How do you worship? How do you serve both the Sadgun and Nirgun forms of God? So here there's a list for you. Again, underneath each word, Sadgun and Nirgun. Most authors, most sants agree that it's easier to start with the Sadgun form in terms of worshiping. Again, because it's tangible. You can see it, you can hear it, you can feel it. As a result, you actually experience the benefits of that in a much faster way. For example, the biggest way of worshiping God in the Sadgun form is by doing seva. So when you go serve food to a homeless person, to a hungry person, and you see the benefit of that work in that person, a hungry person is eating food now, you automatically start feeling positive energy because you see the results of seva right in front of you. A hungry person is eating now, and that makes you happy, right? So already you are seeing the benefits of serving God in the Sadgun form because God is in that person. So when you serve food to that person, you are serving food to God Himself. So seva is the most critical way of worshiping the Sadgun form of God. Similarly, if you want to put social activism either in its own category or part of seva, that's your choice. I have it separate here. But pursuing justice, helping those that cannot defend themselves, fighting for justice, that also is serving the Sadgun form of God. Because we're helping other people, and God is in people. As a result, when we serve those people, we are serving God Himself. So we're serving the Sadgun form of God, the tangible form of God. Same thing if we're doing work for animals' rights or the environment. That's also tangible, right? We are serving the Sadgun form of God. And also in terms of our external rehet, our hair, the importance of keeping the 5Ks, our appearance, that's also serving the tangible form of God. But on the other side here, we have Nirgun, the formless, the intangible form, the spiritual form of God, the energy form of God. So, how does one serve that form of God? Well, as the list shows, there are many ways. Kirtan, singing shabads in rag, doing your part, understanding Bani, doing Simran, remembering God all the time, meditating sometimes, making sure that throughout your day, every decision, every thought is in line with Guru Sahib's principles. That's part of Simran as well because you're remembering God. And of course your internal rehet, your personal code of conduct. How do you conduct yourself during the day? Do you let anger and greed control you? Are you petty? Do you not forgive people easily? Are you kind? Are you generous? Are you exhibiting the values that Guru Sahib wants you to portray, to spread amongst everyone? That's your internal rehet. How are you doing on the inside? Are you following Guru Sahib's message or are you doing something completely different? So as a result, you see they're quite different in terms of how do you serve each side. On the one hand, you have serving the external, tangible form of God, Sadgun form, and then on the other side, this spiritual energy form of God, the intangible Nirgun side. And some people have asked, well, if since it's one God, is it okay if we just serve only one side? Like I have people asking me all the time, if I do a lot of seva, if I do a lot of social activism, a lot of justice work, then do I have to do anything else on this list? Can I let my 5Ks go? Can I let my external rehet go? Can I let my kirtan, my part, do I have to do that if I'm doing at least a few of the things on this list? And on the flip side, I've talked to people who were asking me, hey, if I do a lot of kirtan, a lot of part, a lot of meditation, a lot of simran, do I have to really do anything on the Sadgun form of God? Do I have to do any social activism? Do I have to fight for justice? So people on both sides are comfortable doing what they're doing. But the truth of the matter is that everything on this list and more is required in Sikhi in terms of reaching that highest stage of enlightenment. That if you look at this list and you're looking at it, you're like, okay, I'm fine doing seva and social activism, but kirtan, that's not for me. Or doing part, that's not for me. I don't want to do that. Well then, it won't be possible for you to reach that highest stage of enlightenment in Sikhi. Similarly, if you feel that, hey, I want to do kirtan, I will do kirtan, I will do part, I will understand Gurbani, but I'm not really a big fan of doing seva. I will just stick to the nirgun form. That's not acceptable either. Both sides have to be worshipped. You can't just focus on one and not the other. And more so, it's not as if you can even take, okay, I'll take one check mark on Sadgun and one on Nirgun. I will do Seva and I will do Kirtan. Everything else I will not do. Part I won't do any social activism. I won't care about my rehet. All of that I don't care about. I'll just pick a couple things on both sides. That's not acceptable either in Sikhi. Everything on this list must be done in order to reach God. They're all tools being given by the Guru. These are gifts. These are blessings from the Guru. That, hey, you know what? Here's a life jacket. You're drowning in this world. Grab onto it. You'll get closer to the Guru Sahib's boat, as Guru Gurbani likes to use that metaphor. Right? These aren't burdens, as some people look at it. Like, oh my God, I have to do seva. Oh my God, I have to do kirtan. Don't look at it as a burden, but look at it as a blessing, as a gift. That, hey, Guru Sahib loves me so much that he is giving me a tool to get closer to him. Let me take advantage of that tool. And again, everything is necessary here. Nothing is optional in Sikhi. Some people like using a restaurant metaphor. If you go to a restaurant and they have a set menu, no substitutions, Sikhi is like a set menu with no substitutions. If you want to be part of Sikhi, if you want to reach that high stage of enlightenment in Sikhi, you want to follow Guru Nanak Sahib's message, well, these are the things you have to do. And there's no changes to that. You can't switch anything, you can't, ignore anything. Everything must be done at some point in your life. I'm not saying you need to rush into everything right now, but be aware that everything on this list must be done at some point. So everyone's on their own path, everyone's taking their own time, that's perfectly okay. You shouldn't rush anything. But understand that at some point in your life, whether it be now or later, everything must be done on this list if you want to reach that highest stage of enlightenment. So keep that in mind, keep that in the back of your head that, hey, at some point I need to progress so that everything on this list I can say, you know what, I have tried this, I have done this, I have fallen in love with God through these tools. So everything is necessary. So if we go back now to the Bani, now that we have a better understanding of what Nirgun and Sargun are, we see that Sastav Nan Nanan hai toeko. So when Guru Sahib says, oh God, you have thousands of eyes, Guru Nanak Sahib is talking about the Sargun form of God, the tangible form of God. So when God is in every single person, every single animal, therefore all of these eyes belong to Him. So as a result, Guru Nanak is saying, you have thousands of eyes because you are in every single creation. All eyes belong to you. But on the other hand, you are formless. You're intangible. You're in the Nirgun form of God. So as a result, you have no eyes. The Nirgun form of God. You're both. That's the beauty of this concept, is that you're both. Same thing with faces and noses and feet. That you are in every single creation. As a result, every nose is yours. But because you are intangible, you are in an energy form, you have no nose at all. Because an energy, a spirit, doesn't have any form. It's formless. So as a result, you don't have any of these body parts. You're formless. So as a result, Guru Nanak Sahib is beautifully explaining this concept here of Nirgun and Sargun. And in order to have a solid understanding of Gurbani, of Sikhi, it is critical to have a fundamental understanding and knowledge of Nirgun and Sargun. Understanding what Nirgun and Sargun are and how to get closer to each side. This list hopefully should help you in providing some more clarity to that. So one God overall, of course, one, Akal Purakh Waheguru, and He appears to us in two forms, in the tangible Sargun and the intangible Nirgun. And through both, there are different ways of serving the Sargun form and the Nirgun form. And in this activity that you're about to do now, once you understand this chart here, hopefully you can go through it and kind of figure out in your own life what you feel you're missing and what you feel you need to work on over the next several days, weeks, months, years, whatever it may be, so that one day we can all reach this highest stage in enlightenment. Once we're doing all of these things on this list, we're enjoying it, we're falling in love through these tools. That's when we'll experience the highest form of beauty, the highest form of love. And that's when we'll truly be in Chardikala as well. So with that, I will leave you to this activity and I will see you next week. Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.